Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year to all of you out there, my dear, dear astrology friends. Welcome to this first video with me, Veerle Debruyne, an astrology video about a full moon in Cancer around and about the 13th of January of 2025. Let me explain that. First of all, the flavor of the moon, what are the ingredients of that energy? And then for all of the 12 signs, you will know where this full moon is going to fall in your chart and what this is going to be and why this is a significant area of your life during this time. But first of all, how are you doing? How are you doing? Christmas, New Year's Eve, it's all done. It's all, again, a bit of a, maybe you're not yet in the routines. I'm certainly not yet. I'm trying to. And I hope you all are well and had a good time. I know for many people, this is not the easiest time. And because, people ask themselves, why? Why is it such a challenging time? It's so simple because you meet so many people, when people are going to these festivities and family, and there are so many triggers. But I hope most of you had a good time. And let's talk about this full moon, because this is a full moon. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. The picture that I'm seeing is like someone with steam out of their ears. It's that kind of a full moon. Of course, full moons, they happen every single month. And it's mostly an energy for a couple of days, you could say. So in this case, specifically around the 13th of January, and always around this time, we have a full moon in Cancer. That means that the sun will be at 24 degrees of Capricorn, opposing the moon at 24 degrees of Cancer. Now, normally, when we just have that, this is always a time of emotions. This is always a time of family. Cancer represents family. It represents who we want to protect. It represents emotional security and stability. It represents this flow of emotions and this nurturing energy so that we can grow in life, right? It's the representative of the mother, la mamma, so that we can grow. And the good side of Cancer is indeed that they are super supportive and very caring traits that you have there. The pitfall is caring too much, right? So because when you care too much, you smother. That's one of the energies. But I think in this case, it's not a normal, an ordinary full moon in Cancer. Why? It's a bit like a full moon in Aries almost, Scorpio Aries. And I'll explain because it's next to Mars. So we're going to have a conjunction of the moon at 24 degrees of Cancer conjoining with a retrograde Mars at 27 degrees of Cancer. So it's moon conjunct Mars, which when someone has that in the astrology, even if it's like in this case in Cancer, it has a lot of Aries traits. It has a lot of Aries energy. So when you combine this is going to be the pitfall of Cancer is getting too emotional, getting too emotional and getting really fired up, because this is Mars. Mars is about fire. It's a fire energy. So it's getting either frustrated, annoyed by something or someone, and therefore it bursts and it kind of explodes. Right? So it's a lot of emotions that are like taking a lot of space. And these emotions with Mars there, it's almost like instinct, right? Cancer is a very instinctive sign. That's why when people have planets, personal planets in Cancer, they are very intuitive people. They feel. You've got people who kind of judge by their senses. That you've got people who judge by their, by the devil is in the detail. But they kind of feel. They're very kind of sensitive people. Now, this is feelings multiplied, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the sign of Cancer, but when it's in a constellation like this, with Mars and so on, it represents here an energy that we're all gonna feel of a lot of frustration, a lot of emotional frustration, a lot of stress as well, and a lot of reactive stress. We can have feelings and emotions running very deep, and but we're not going to show it, for instance, right? That could be like a moon in, maybe a moon in Capricorn. It's not going to show it, it's going to feel it, and it's going to master it. But with that Aries kind of flavor and Cancer, it's going to react very, very quickly without even thinking. So for better or for worse, sometimes I'm not saying here that you have to suppress this energy, because it's not going to be, well, it might be possible, but I explain another way how to deal with that. The best way is definitely not like, exploding, and then you have to, maybe you exploded a bit too much, and then you have to go back, and then you have to kind of, restore. But another solution is definitely also not to suppress all this energy, because that causes illnesses. That causes a lot of, so what to do? Now, we look at the whole picture then. What is this Mars and this moon conjunction and opposition to the sun, because it's a full moon? What is happening with the other planets? Do we get some assistance here? And, well, yes, we do. But first, there's even more of a opposition to Pluto. Right? The moon slightly opposes still Pluto. Pluto is at the beginning, just of the beginning steps in Aquarius, but it's still gonna be Sun conjunct Pluto, Moon opposite Pluto. So there's a Plutonian undertone here. And that means that all that is buried can come out. All that is buried and that is stuffed under the surface has an opportunity here to come out. Now, no one likes that, right? No one likes these outbursts of feelings or emotions and whatnot. But often, when we have done that and when we have expressed it in the way, there is lightness, there is clarity, there is direction, there is transformation. And an opposition always shows that it involves with other people, right? Moon opposite Pluto, it involves other people. But the thing is that a Plutonian energy in an opposition, to use that at its best, is to be very aware of control and fear and your own ego. So when you're acting out of fear, so if you're gonna trying to control something, this is a very controlling energy, by the way. And it's out of fear that we can try to control too much, and then things happen that we don't like, because we think we have something in control, but it's nothing further from the truth, right? So these topics will come up, and it sounds all very dramatic, but it depends, of course, on your personal chart. If you don't have any planets in Cancer, you don't have any planets in Capricorn at the end of that, and in the other cardinal signs, because these are cardinal signs like Libra and Aries, if you don't have any personal planets there, you probably are not going to feel that much. You're probably just going to feel some energy of frustration in that particular area of your life where that moon falls. And that's it. But people who've got personal planets, these are teams where and especially with the opposition of Pluto, they have been working on anyways for a couple of months, years. And so this is like an opportunity for transformation, an opportunity to get toxicity out of your system, out of your life, and but doing that in a way that you're starting from being centered and you're not starting from fear. Now, most people, of course, when they go through like Plutonic transits and so on, they will start with a tremendous amount of fear. And because of that, they feel powerless. They feel powerless, whether it is in a relationship or in a job or whatever. But that Plutonian energy is a process of going through that fear and that process and experiencing that. And at the end of the road, you're transformed because you face that fear. And when you face it, it's gone. It's like shadow, right? It's called shadow work. When you face your shadow, it's not shadow anymore. And you transform it. So actually, it's a challenging time. Absolutely. It's a challenging moon. Probably one of the most challenging moons of the year. Full moons, I mean. But what an opportunity, because Pluto is crisis, and crisis is, of course, always an invitation for a new way, a new road. So yes, a lot of people will be fed up with certain situations, and definitely with all that stress that we had with the Jupiter square Saturn and whatnot, Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde in December. So all these stresses with people, with situation, there's something that's going to trigger that in January, in the midst of January. So when that happens to you, see it as an opportunity for transformation. See it as not something that is bad, that you want to stuff up even more. Know that there's a reason for that. And look at yourself, with the moon opposite Pluto, looking at other people, it's not going to help you, because then it's going to come back again and again and again. Look what you can do, right? So if you point the finger to someone, there's three fingers pointing back to you. So try to see what you're seeing in someone else that is annoying you, that is really yuck. Look at, but why is this in my energy? Why? And it's not about blaming yourself the whole 100%. That's not what I'm saying. But what can I do to get that out of my life and to change and transform that? I mean, those people are not always going to change for you. Some will, but mostly they won't. So what can I do so that I'm not going to attract that anymore in my life? I give an example. Let's give an example here. You might attract, let's say you have this in your relation, you're a Cancerian and you're having this in your first house. So relationships with the sun there in Capricorn are going to be very important. And the same is true when you are, for instance, like a Capricorn. So you're having this energy here of transformation possible, that something, a pattern, this is about patterns, can come up again. So let's say you are someone who is empathic and who's a very empathic soul always, but has low confidence. And I'm not saying that every empathic person has low confidence, not at all. But let's just assume this. And you are seeing, so your shadow is that you allow other people to cross your boundaries, right? You always say yes, for instance, and actually it's a no, right? So, and in relationship, you dated again another person, and it's again the same pattern, right? They kind of walk all over you, they take you for granted, and so what I mean by this, that there could be a situation that comes up here where you can be tempted, if it's low vibrational, to say, oh, I always seem to attract these men or women who take advantage of me, who don't see me, who walk all over me, and they're avoidant, and blah, 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 blah. You can say that, of course. Or you can say, why? Why am I doing that? Maybe it's my attitude as well. It humbles. Plutonian transits and Plutonian energies here is very humbling. So it's to look at yourself and say, maybe I'm just a bit too soft. I always say yes, and I don't want to. And why? Why do I do that? Oh, maybe I do that because I have low self-esteem, or I don't love myself enough, and I think that they're gonna abandon me if I'm not gonna be who they exactly want me to be, and so on and so on. So you go to the core, and that's what Pluto wants. It wants you to go to the core of the situation. And if you change something from the core, it is new growth and that is what is called transformation. So you say to yourself, okay, this relationship might not have been the best, but I know now from the beginning, I'm going to be doing the best that I can to be not, to strengthen myself, to see myself and to explore a little bit more, but to see myself why I'm doing this, etc., etc. I didn't want this example to be so long, but that is what this energy is all about. So this is an opportunity, folks. This is a huge opportunity for transformation of shadow work. But yes, we only grow when we are like forced with something. We're not going to grow if we sit there in the chair, so to speak, figuratively, watching Netflix all evening with a good glass of wine, although that sounds great, doesn't it? But you see what I mean? That is growing very fast. So I think a lot of people are going to have breakthroughs. A lot of people, but it's energy of no way back. It's energy of something bursts. The bubble bursts, for sure, if there has been a bubble. Now, is there helping energy? Yes. There's soothing energy of Neptune, because Neptune trines, it is at the end of Pisces at 27 degrees, and that Mars moon in Cancer trines Neptune. So it means that there is humbleness, there is empathy, there is understanding in a very spiritual way, and that can help us. That can help us. But again, it's it is help, but it is still a lot of so it means that there could be a soulmate that helps you out with this situation, or and so on and so on. So let's have a look for each and every sign where this is happening, and also let's have a look where this Neptune is, so that we know where can we tap into that energy of help and assistance. So for Aries, it is your family, your home life. This moon is in your 4th house of your core, your emotions. So it could be, family. There is some disruptive energy there. Don't try to push it away, but look at it, right? From your own perspective of emotions, why you are reacting so heavily. Maybe a parent. It can also be relatives. On another level, on a more mundane level, it is literally your home. There is something that goes on with the home, literally, and it's kind of the balance between life and home and work, right? Because this is an opposition, is a bit distorted here. So you can rebalance that. Now, Neptune is in the 12th, which means this is the 12th house is the house where we rest, where we kind of go back to source, so to speak. So what can help you with some meditation is maybe a trip far away where you can relax a little bit, so that, because this is very emotional, reactive energy that we're having here. So don't point the finger too much to the parents or to the family members. And yes, and of course, if they do abusive stuff, you have to distance yourself from that. But look at yourself. What can I do to improve myself here? What is the opportunity here? For Taurians, this is in your 3rd house. So this moon, Mars energy is in your 3rd house. This is a house of communication. So there's going to be for Taurians some sort of maybe a message, a phone call, an email, a communication that is very emotional, or to say the least, that is going to make you very emotional. Either you are going to give that communication, or you're going to get that information that is quite, putting you a little bit out of kilter, putting you out of balance, whatever this. And the third house is the neighborhood, the connections, the loose connections you have. There could be an information that is totally, that is totally something that was stuffed under the carpet and now has to be dealt with. What is helping you? It is Neptune in your 11th house. The 11th house is a house of friends. So if you have some sort of a communication that is very emotional, and because Taurian people, they are not emotional, the most emotional people, because they are very grounded. And that doesn't mean to say that they don't feel. On the contrary. But now look for assistance in your friend groups. Neptune in the 11th will mean that there is help available by friends who can give you this gentle energy to go through this period, whatever it is for you that you're going through. Geminis, this is in your 2nd house, the house of your belongings and the house of how you deal with your money, your assets. There's something here that is stressful. There is an energy here of on another level. This is values. This is how you value yourself. And it's in an opposition to the 8th house. So how another person values you. There has to be some stuff that needs to be restored here. Now, this can be power struggles for sure. So if you're in a relationship, this could be power struggles around money, power struggles around things that you have, a car, whatever it is. But this is here to restore this, because there's the balance is here a little bit like this. So you want to restore this balance around your values. There is something that you feel that is harming you when it comes to your values. And so it's very important to stick to them and to not lower them. What can help you is your work, your career, because that is where Neptune is. So if you feel a little bit out of kilter, work, go towards career. And because that can give you a new perspective. Oh, so sorry. I have a very, very dark voice now. Excuse me so much. It's wintertime here, and sometimes, during these times, I have a little bit of a low voice. Anyway, so Geminis, whatever it is, this is for you to restore your confidence, to restore your financial situation. And so if you think, oh, my financial situation, it's all going down, go to work, go to find some solutions there. And you will. Cancerians, this whole video is for you, of course. The whole introduction is for you because you're going to feel this the most. So you're a bit on fire here. You're a bit under a lot of emotional stress. But see it, as I said in the beginning of the video, as something positive. See it as cleaning up the air, which is very, very necessary. Now, this is a full moon from the 7th house. So if you are in a relationship and there has been toxicity from you or them, this is an opportunity to clear it up, even though you might not find it easy. And it's an energy of no way back, right? So if this has been like a situation where you say, yes, there's someone very toxic in my life, and it brings out the worst in me, it brings out the worst in them. This can be indeed one of those times where you can say no longer for me. Now, what is going to help you is the 9th house, which is Neptune. It's a trip or going to a vacation, or if you say, no, I'm not going away. It's reading a book around philosophy or teaching something, learning something, going to a cultural event. So actually going out to broaden your mind, to see it in a bigger perception, have a bigger perspective is going to help you. So whatever it is on an emotional level, the moon in the first house means this is my needs. This is what I need. And there has to be a restoration of balance here. Leos, this is happening in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a very unconscious house. So there's a lot happening so this shows happening a lot in the unconscious, Leo. And the unconscious is quite often, for a lot of people, a blind spot. And so you could have like those emotional outbursts and you don't know, where is this coming from? Well, this is coming from build up emotions. So this is not from like a day or two. This is from weeks, months, maybe years that you have stuffed up and now it kind of comes up. It could be also very vivid dreams or a dream that is quite aggressive almost. And that brings you a little bit out of kilter there. But the thing is to restore the balance between having a healthy life with good routines and to not go into self-destruction and escapism, because that is a lot happening with this moon and Mars in the 12th house. It can be pretty destructive there when you're not aware of your own demons, so to speak. But when you are aware, this could be a battle, and what's going to help you, Neptune in the 8th house, it's deep psychological understanding. It is occult, or maybe the astrology is going to help you, because to understand yourself, it's it's really that connection with what you cannot see always, right? So it's a connection with maybe loved ones that passed away, that you can feel that strength there, right? So pretty important energy and very emotional transformation. Virgos, this is happening in your 11th house. So there could be some upheaval, some situations building up here around friends or friendships or goals that you have for the future. And it's been there for a while and it's been, under the surface, you could say. And all of a sudden, this is an outburst. Either it is one friend and that has that goes through a dramatic energy here. And it has a knock-on effect on you as well. So it's like, you feel what they feel situation, or it's a group of people. It could be the social media that you feel like, I have to just cut this off. This is not good for me anymore. And remember what I said in the beginning. It's not always pointing the finger towards, social media is bad and blah, 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 blah. No, it's how you treat it. It's how you treat it, how you deal with it, right? So, but Virgos, they have a lot of self-criticism anyways. So I don't think that they're not going to see that. And it humbles them. But what's going to help you is your relationship with a specific person. Neptune in the 7th house, it could be a person that is really understanding you, a soulmate. If you're not in a relationship, there could be someone special that you feel very attracted to. And that kind of helps you through going through this phase of, if it's not friends, if it doesn't involve friends, it's about some goals that you feel are not longer the best goals, and you're realizing it, and therefore some changes need to be made there in new goals, perhaps. Why not? Librans, this is in the 10th house of your horoscope. So this is around career. So for those of you who don't have a career, this has more to do with parents. This has more to do with who you want to be in the public, right? It's a very public point in your horoscope for a lot of people who are not working. How to see this 10th house, it is what you contribute towards your, and even if you say, but I'm not contributing, I'm just, fitnessing every day and having a ball and whatever, but you're contributing energy, which is good energy, bad energy, whatever. So there's something there that, but again, for most people, it is career. So you could be very, very frustrated around your career around this time, dear Librans, or there could be something that becomes very, very clear to you around the balance or the rebalancing between career and your home life, so that there needs to be some sort of a restoration there. Could be also a parent that, is driving you nuts, right? And that there has to be things that has to come up in the open. Now, what can help you? It is your lifestyle, your routines, your day-to-day life. Neptune in the 6th is like, what can help you is, having that very gentle energy toward yourself when it comes to your routine. So maybe sleeping a little bit longer, 1 hour maybe, or going a bit early, having those kind of relaxating routines during the day. Or maybe you're doing yoga now every single day. Maybe you're going on YouTube, yoga with, what's her name? Adrienne, or something like that. I think her YouTube channel is fascinating, by the way. And no, I don't know this person, but she's so good. Maybe you're going to do that in your day-to-day life, so it suits you in some way, and so that you can deal with all that stress. On another level, that's it. Mostly career, but also when it is stress around parents and so on, be gentle to yourself in your day-to-day life towards yourself. Scorpios, this is in your 9th house, so there could be some challenge going on for you in your perspective. So Mars, and you can get very much emotional when you are trying to maybe explain your point of view towards others. And so there needs to be done some sort of a restoration. So people can really, really kind of push your buttons when it comes to belief systems, your belief system versus their belief system, and it clashes and blah, 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 and a lot of words and a lot of emotions with the words and so on and so on. Mars is, of course, your ancient ruler. So it's you feeling all of this. And but the thing is, again, to not point too much the finger to others, because that's easier said than done. But the whole thing here is shadow work. And if there's a sign who understands this, it's the Scorpio. And so this is about looking at your own belief systems and seeing how much ego there is involved with this. And what's going to help you is Neptune in the 5th. So what's going to help you is go to be a bit creative, go some dancing, listening to some music, whatever it is that you enjoy in life. Or going out for dinner with a lover, all these kind of things, or doing some fun things, going to a theater with your child, and whatever it is, this can help you with this quite of mental energy that can be like a bit like the monkey mind, right? It's like you care too much, right? It's that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that you don't have to care, but it's about restoring that balance. Sagittarians, this is in the 8th house, so it's gonna feel a bit like is your 8th house. Now, let's start with the financial side of things, because this is a financial house. So there could be some things that has been building up, that really now comes to that cooking point, so to speak, that you say, now it's, I've done the taxes, I've done the investments, or I've done the loans and whatnot. I've done all this work. Now I'm going to take some action. So I have to have this, this thing sorted out here. So be aware that getting too emotional is not going to help you, but be aware that this has been going on under the surface. And the best thing here to do is your attitude towards that 8th house. So the 8th house is a fear house. So make sure that you're thinking in abundance and not in lack, because this is an annoying energy if you believe in lack. right? So think of abundance and as much as you can, because what you put out, you get back. Now, what's going to help you is your fourth house, which is your family, your home, Neptune there. So it could mean like, enjoying yourself at home, having a nice dinner at home. These things can help you with this quite transformational energy. It can also mean, of course, that it's not. It seems negative, but it's not. It can go for the better for sure. It can also be like some sort of a culmination point where you have put a lot of energy, and now you're going to see the results, and it's quite intense. Let's put it that way. Maybe it's about. So for some people, it's about inheritances. It's about things that you might have struggled with, and now there comes like the conclusion, which might not always be negative, but it's emotional because this is the house of death and rebirth. This is the house of transformation anyways, right? So also of investments and so on. So the best thing you can do is being very strategic and being very humble. That's going to help you, being very humble, and that people are not like taxes or this or that. They are not doing that to harm you, or don't take it too personal. That's a bit what I invite you to do. But for some, strangely enough, this can be a windfall. This can be a windfall, this can be like, the house is sold and there was a lot of drama and a lot of culmination of circumstances, and the house is sold here. Why? Because the 8th house, the 4th house, real estate, Mars in Cancer, real estate. So it could be that as well. So staying grounded is important for Sagittarians. Capricorns, this is, of course, your relationships. So the example I said in the beginning in the intro is very much for you, because the toxicity that I was talking about, it goes, both sides. And so there could be indeed a relationship here that shows its true self now. And it might be a little bit ugly even, but on the other hand, it's the truth. And because you know the truth and the truth is revealed, you can go further in life and you can choose now. You can make a choice to go with that toxicity or not. So what are you going to do? And what can help you is the 3rd house, Neptune in the 3rd. That could be calling a sibling for assistance, or a neighbor, or someone in your neighborhood that can help you out. Doing a short trip just to get away for a couple of days and to put it a little bit more in perspective. So for those of you who are in not the best relationship, yes, this could be indeed that sign of, look, here, it needs to stop here. Specifically for the Capricorns who've got planets at the very end of Capricorn. So, but if you're single, for instance, this could mean that you see now what is important for you, your needs, the sun in your sign, how you want to shine, but also you're going to see what other people want, right? So other people are going to, there's definitely one person, even if you're single, that's going to show up here. And that's going to show up maybe emotionally. And you're going to say, what the heck is going on here? But it's about seeing who you are, who they are, and not trying to change them, but change yourself. Aquarians, this is in your 6th house. So there's something here bubbling up in the 6th house, which is, in a nutshell, your health either, or your work, and or. Could be both as well. But there's something like stress involved with routines, your lifestyle, your health, your work, your day-to-day work. It's the day-to-day routines that we do. Now, again, the best thing to do here is not pointing too much fingers to other people. I mean, we cannot change them anyways, but to kind of restore the balance between our lifestyle and the work that we do, the way we take care about our bodies and our mental health, and the how do you say that? The relaxation that we have in life. So there is a bit of a disbalance. So for some of you, it's going to be you're working too much. And for others, it's going to be you're flighting too much. You say, "Oh, I'm just gonna escape," and this is not gonna work anymore. With this Mars moon in the 6th house, it wants to reveal something around your attitude towards your own body, towards your mental state. So this is a huge opportunity to improve that. And what's going to help is Neptune in the 2nd house. What's going to help is your confidence and your values. So your value system, the way that you think about yourself, your self-worth, and to improve that and to see that with an empathic eye almost. Or what can also mean is that you're going to enjoy the things that you have, your assets, that are very beautiful, that are very fine, refined assets. What could that be? Well, maybe a piece of jewelry, maybe some clothing that you love and that you want to buy or that you want to enjoy. Some nice foods that you want to eat, and so on and so on. So these things can put you back into perspective so that you're not being harsh to yourself when it comes to your health and your routines and your lifestyle. Pisceans, last but not least, this is happening in your 5th house. So this is the house of romance. This is the house of children. This is the house of your projects that you're doing. This is the house of your hobbies. So there could be something here bubbling up that's frustrating. Maybe a child is just frustrating you. Maybe a lover is frustrating you. And there's something here that needs some restoring of the balance that is out of proportion, right? So that you've maybe just, oh yeah, but it's okay. And now you're seeing it's not okay. So it's about looking at that. It's restoring that. It's restoring also that balance between what your heart wants and what like-minded people want, you know. Do you want to go all by yourself and be self-centered, or do you want to share with other like-minded people? I think the balance here is the most important thing for you. What can help you is yourself. You're the solution, dear Pisces. Isn't that lovely? Neptune in the 1st house is having compassion with yourself, being gentle with yourself. I know that a lot of Pisces, they are so gentle for other people. They are the best with understanding others because they've seen it all. It's the last sign of the zodiac. They have lived it all. But it's now about being understanding in a very loving way towards yourself. So that's your solution if you feel a little bit out of kilter in that 5th house of yours. By the way, this is a fellow water sign. So all that energy in Cancer, so which is trine energy. So although it sounds a little bit like stressful energy, it trines your energy, which means that you will deal with that very good. You know, you together with the Scorpios. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Another thing I want to mention here, that I'm doing a promotion. And it's going to be just for a week from today. That is recorded up until the 13th of January. So it's a short time that I'm doing, like, what am I doing? I'm offering audio recording readings for 15 minutes and looking at all of the long-term transits. So from Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. So what are the biggest transits for you? You know, the conjunctions, the square, the oppositions. What are the challenges there? And also the Venus retrograde in Aries I'm going to look at, and the Mars retrograde in Cancer. So it's a bit of a, it's the beginning of the year. I don't do a lot of promotions because, otherwise, it's a lot of work. Let's put it that way. And, but every now and then I want to give a little bit especially for people who just want a quick reading, like a 50 minutes, but quick, but concise, if you like a longer reading, go for the in-depth reading of 40 minutes. And I think the promotion now, it's at 99 euros, right? So I think that's a good price, and I'm sure some of you will want to have that reading. Click on the link below. And other than that, thank you so much for listening. Have a very good start of the year. Bye-bye.